Thank you, panelists, for sharing your knowledge and experience with our viewers. The pandemic reorganized our ways of living, and the most transforming sector was education. The education sector shifted to the digital mode with artificial intelligence and technology leading the way towards transmogrified virtual education. This has also opened up a whole new world of on the job learning opportunities. The online education sector requires a two pronged approach in reaching the target audience with the suitable learning opportunities and delivering the learning experience in the best effective manner using AI and ML, thereby providing personalized experience while reducing the back-end administrative work. To further share insights on this context, I would like to invite Mr. Rinkesh Jain, Senior Solution Consultant, CX Cloud Oracle, for a keynote session on the emerging power of AI, tech, and tools in the education sector.
Thanks everyone for helping me to join this particular session where I'm going to give my point of view from Oracle's point of view that how the emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the different digitalization tools help you automate the seamless landscape which you are having in this particular sector. Before I begin, it's just not about the kindergartens, the K-12, or the colleges, universities, but there are different various avenues also which are opening up, right? From the edutech companies which are coming up, where they are shaping helping the students to choose the right career path, helping them to crack, typically in Indian scenarios, the entrance exams, right, from the medical to engineering, and obviously the edutech companies which are helping all the professionals which are there to climb, their ladder in technical and management skills, both online and offline, right? So while we start, just I will take you back. If I start look back into the 90s era, there were few channels which we as a consumer for to interact with any brand were having. They were typically the phone calls, the advertisements which we used to see in the newspaper, and the email, right? But as we are moving ahead and the digital disruption which is coming up, we see a lot many channels, a lot more chatter which is surrounding us, both offline, online, with the different things which are evolving. And hence the education sector is also one of the areas where we have to look for that how we can emphasize all these digital transformations to take place. Okay. So let me begin with a typical landscape. This is not limited, but on a very high level. So these are the typical areas. This is how the landscape of any educational institute, educational outlet would look like, right from their student onboarding, accounts admissions, to how they manage the enrollment, curriculum management, to different learning paths, the courses which they provide, the assessments, outcomes, right from their training placement programs to their cross collaboration across the industries or cross collaborations with faculty and across the continents, right? Then the recruitment and engagement of the best in class faculties to roll all these out. And last not the least, the alumni collaboration, which is very important at every student or even a professional's career point of view. Then definitely to stitch all these operations and budgets come into place where the company, where the organization has to be profitable. They have to take some decisive actions, which goes to enroll, what are the current trends, and any digital disruptions which are happening, how easily we can adapt. So it's just not how we can help the students, the parents, guardians, but at the same time the staff which is working over there, right from your accounts to finance to teachers, faculties, right, to everyone. So when I look at education sector, there are typically, the key priorities which are always based around the teaching, learning, research program, right from the student outcomes, right? How we can simplify the IT to free up the resources. Like there are some mundane jobs which we always see in education sector: result preparation, exam conduction, and all those things which involves a lot of manual result assessment, which involves a lot of manual intervention. How do we get out of it? right? How we can support some new business models in education tech, in a tech, right? And while we are imparting these educational skills or professional skills, it is very important that our candidate becomes employable. It is he or she is armed with the new skills which can employ him. And if you are not aware, just a couple of weeks back, central government has declared NEP, which is National Education Program, which guides all the institutes, typically the schools K-12, to hone the skills apart from the regular academics, right? Where they have to choose where those students can be enabled with analytical thinking, idea creation, and so on, something which they can pick, right? Then obviously the next priority is typically how do we manage the financial sustainability. It's a very important element that any institute, whether it's university, school, or any ed tech company, right, it has to be profitable, right? When I see although these three are different variants in their offerings, right, from K-12 or the university or the edutech companies, but again, the prime intention or the imperative, the main business imperative is to sustain and to be profitable, right? Then obviously comes the human resources, the staff, the backend systems which are being supported, right from my admin jobs to my onboarding jobs to all my faculty jobs to everything, the training and placement jobs, right? How do I get right from hire to retire? How do I map them correctly to the right resources for the right curriculum, right? And obviously the operations, how I can have a seamless connect with all the operations which are there in helping these students, these schools to run, right? That can be right from the administration department to the accounts department to your training and placement to your logistics and even to the procurement flow. All these things have to be seamless and jointed. They cannot work in silos, right? So these are few of the key priorities we can add on as we go, right? And typically, if I look at a student or a guardian or a parent, okay, this is what I expect during my journey in finding a school, onboarding on it, right? So I want that I should be identified, right? As we know, there are many channels, right? Offline, online. How do you identify me as a student? How do you identify me as a prospect, suspect? How what you can do to interest me so that I really move on and connect with you, and once I'm connecting with you, how you are engaging me, are you knowing what kind of interest do I carry in my professional or academic career, right? Then how do you provide me in all my micro moments the information which I need to ensure that I'm onboarded with you. Once I'm onboarded with you during my entire tenure of completing my academia or even completing my technical professional courses which I'm going through, you just have to interject. You have to just intervene wherever you feel that I'm just going off the track. No, this is not the way I have to be. These are the curriculum. We can redefine the patterns, right? And then obviously you have to always be like my be my shadow, I will say, when it comes to career, when it comes to student life, where you can have to share my timely content and relevant information throughout my journey, right? Help me succeed my goals. This is one of my moments which I will achieve. And once I'm successful either as a student or as a professional, right, I will definitely like to be a brand ambassador for the institute, for the edutech company which I have enrolled for, right? And I can share this experience because this is also the social envisage which we see can help these companies, right? So this is typical student journey which we have seen, right? But the biggest thing is that while we have understood the landscape, while we have understood the key priorities, one question always come to our mind, right? Off and on, that is my institute, is my organization connected? Because I know it contains many operations. Are they connected? Are they siloed? Right? Are we staying with the compliances, regulations, with all the norms which we have to follow? Typically for schools, universities, all the affiliations, grants, are they complying with the regulations? Right? Then currently with the pandemic, are we prepared with the remote workforce challenges? Do we make all our strategy decisions right from which new courses to be introduced, changing the pattern of the teachers, hiring the kind of faculties which we want, budgeting, right? And or any procurement process, do we go on our gut feeling or do we have real insights? Do we just take the decision because of the competition? Are we prepared for any business slowdowns, any economic impact which can happen? And what are the security risks which are in and off campus, right? So the thing is that we have to come out of this where we have a connected system, a complete collaboration, which is across your HR, finance, IT, and academics, right? A seamless compliance for all the courses, for affiliations you have, and we are well prepared for the any pandemic conditions like which are prevailing now, or any uncertain conditions which can come at a later stage, right? All my decisions, whether it is my fee structure, whether it is a new course induction, whether it is an industry or a college cross collaboration, I have to make all my decisions with the real insights from outside world, with a real data driven approach, right? I should have all my operations, all my departments consistently stressed, and they operate in a seamless way, right? Irrespective of how my economy runs, right? I should be able to respond with agility, and I should be secured with all my processes, with all my stuff which I'm doing at my level, right? So let's look at it, that how Oracle one stop OEM can help you to solve all these things. We have got a huge portfolio. Oracle is known for its database, but people don't know that, right? All the back office applications to the front of office applications, we all have it in one shelf, all in one unified platform. There's no problem with the connectivity, integrations, your extensions, which we have to go for, right from your financials to project portfolio management, your risk management, right now into the ERP, or your procurement, supply chain, logistics, inventory management, or your asset management to supply chain. And similarly, for hire to retire, we have got a complete suite of HCM, your human resource solutions, right? How do we get the right talent? How do we create his career path? How do we grade him? What are the work rewards, incentives, all those things we can go for, right? And the biggest chunk in today's world of experience economy, right, where we have to always keep in mind the four tenets of this experience economy: the discover, engage, consume, and serve. There comes your CX technology. That's right from your digital marketing to your sales to your quote and order preparation to your commerce, both B2B, B2C, and all your service which you cater to your end users, right? And all of these are just not the plain applications. As we are a data-driven company, our core nerves lies in the data, and that's where all of the transformative technologies of AI, ML, blockchain, IoT comes into picture. Just before we move ahead, just to simplify certain things, people always get confused with the concept of AI, ML, and DL, right? So AI is typically a technology which we put on a layer, but that is totally based on the machine learning. Machine learning is an art where we try to train the data, the structured and unstructured, right? It can be supervised, it can be non-supervised, it can be semi-supervised, right? And if we have to go further down, right? If we have to just uh, define the data logic, the way our human brain works, that is typically on the neural network, right? Neural algorithms, then comes your deep learning. So in a nutshell, AI, ML, and DL are just in conjunction with each other, and the entire subject is known as data science. It's just to make you aware, okay? Now, when I talk about CX, so right from your marketing, right from your acquiring the students, helping the parents to get interested, to orchestration, where you orchestrate the entire communication, right, to the all onboarding and different kind of data enrichment which we can do, because the data would be there in different ways. The data might be coming, you might be getting leads from different sources, website, maybe some form filling, maybe from some social, maybe from email, maybe the student is reaching out to yourself. How do I combine all these things and create some needful segments where I really do purposeful marketing? And even in event of crisis management, like we saw in the pandemic, right? When do we have to open the schools? How do we have to run the curriculum in the universities? When are the exams going to happen, right? So all of these typical marketing, communication, creating your brand awareness, we have got the entire suit. I will talk about that also. When it comes to service, yes, I want to seamlessly onboard all my students, right? I need not have to ask multiple form filling, multiple digital assets which I have to create. Can I have that service model throughout his customer, throughout the student journey, right? Then how do I automate those leads which I'm getting for new admissions, for new interest in my professional, in typical edutech companies, right? So let's have a look into a deeper aspect of marketing. Oracle CX Marketing is one of the leaders, and it is totally based on three pillars, right? From the connected data to the connected intelligence, the insights, which we call it, and the connected experience, right? So any moment of the student or the targeted audience we have. So right from the targeting of, to acquisition. Say for example, I'm searching for a professional course offline, online, right? I'm just putting some search in Google, right? Best courses in AI ML. I have not logged in anywhere, but I'm someone is capping me, right? How do I capture those anonymous stuff? How do I marry it with some known stuff, known segments into me? So all that about target acquisition. Then again, we go to the orchestrate, engage model, and then how do I give a typical personalized and test model in the website formation, right? And all these things is possible only when we have a proper customer insights, when we have a deeper machine learning, which helps us to resolve all the insights and the identities which we have, right? So moving on, so while we understand the different landscape, the different keynotes, challenges which these companies or education sector is looking for, and a broad portfolio where Oracle is ready to partner, to collaborate with all these institutes, let us see that how we can transform the education sector with the technologies, right? So right from the student engagement, right? Let's right from the discovery to engagement to seamless onboarding to getting the complete student 360. When I say student 360, it's just not about the needful documents which he has to submit, right? The needful course, but not only that, but even the fees, his interest, everything which he is marked in his entire journey in his academia or even the professional upgrade, right? Then how even I can help him with a seamless assistant in any point, right? Maybe for his subject selection, course recommendation, right? Wherever he is struck, he or she is struck, how do I assist him? Both manually and with digital, right? Then comes your administration department. How so? These are typically at times the front, at times the back office also, right? Many times admin department handles the onboarding of the students of your courses, but at the same time, the main responsibility lies with the entire campus management. All the logistics, utilities, the stock of the inventories which you have, right, in form of many things, right, from your library stock to your inventories with your furniture to your all equipments, right? Projectors and so on. How do I help them in procurement? All these things happen with the seamless collaboration with our back office tools like ERP. And in case they have to organize the events, so how we can do again, we with the help of marketing tools, we can go for a seamless journey in admin, right? Similarly for asset management, which is again a seamless part of the ERP, okay? How things can be repaired, replaced, installed, new purchase, managing the depreciation, and obviously the demand planning which goes. Hire to retire is the key for all the human resources, where how we can get the best talent in the market, best employable talent in the market. Then thinking about their well-being, the resource allocation and scheduling of it in the entire curriculum, and obviously the incentive benefits to close on. Then comes the most important, accounts and finance. How do I go for my inflow, outflow financial audits? Because if I'm having a connect the student 360, I'm having everything. If I'm having a connect with my stock 360, what I have to procure, when I have to procure, what were the inflows, what were the outflows, what were the collections, what were the expense management, right? How seamlessly we can do with these technologies, right? So when we deploy, as I said, that it's a unified platform where all our backend and back office and front office applications sit in place. So all these things are just seamless. They're just pre-integrated, right? And the core to the business is budgeting planning. How do I emphasize what kind of business I can expect in this particular year? Is it just a gut feeling, just based on the competition, or can I have some predictive algorithms to define that how these budgets, these allocations, these operations will cost me? Can I go in with my historical data? Can I create some trends? Can I have some best in class algorithms like Arima Sarima, right? So all these things are a part and parcel when we give in which we deliver in our CX portfolio, right? Now coming on, while these are the native applications, they are all powered. The data is inside it. We churn it every moment, every second, where we can form the pattern, where the applications can suggest what is the next best action, what is the next best go for you, what is the next best path for the student, right? So all these are powered with AI, ML, IoT, blockchain, and the concept of bots, right? And let's see that while we are moving with digital technology, how AI ML is helping us. The first thing which always comes to mind is the adaptive learning. Think about a classroom with 50 students, okay, with one faculty. It's tough for him to understand the mindset of all those 40 people and seamlessly make them understand the concept which you want to do, right? But with adaptive learning, which is again data driven, analyzes the students in in his performance, right? It modifies the curriculum, it modifies the content. It's more like a personalized engagement at your own pace. Like say for example, if I have to give an example, okay, if I have to teach a kid, I'm just giving an example, things can be elaborated. An apple a day keeps the doctor away, okay? So there, if there are three categories of students, okay, one with a high IQ, one which is moderate, and there are the third category which are slow learners. So if I just give a picture of an apple and a doctor, probably the first one will complete a sentence that an apple a day keeps a doctor away. Similarly, for a second guy who is a moderate IQ level, I have to even spell some word or maybe put one more symbol like a sun for representing a day, and then he can complete. But for the guy who are slow learners, I have to even give the pick and some word formation, right? And then so that kind of pattern we can understand while we go through a student journey, and that is where AI will help, right? And all this happens in real time. The learning analytics, every moment, whatever the faculties are teaching, the way we are completing the syllabus, the way the kids are learning or the professionals are completing their paths, their courses, their modules, we can understand, we can deep dive into million of contents, right? And then we can suggest the path, which is the best learning path, which you can choose for, which are the best professional career options, which you can have for after completing these professional courses, certifications, which these edutech companies are giving, right? Then the predictive analytics, okay, it is always a challenge for any institute that the students or the people who have enrolled should not drop out. So these predictive analytics can help you to understand which are the students or the people who are at risk, who can just drop off, right? They can understand the mindset and the needs of the students, right? They can provide you the intuitive support, right? And design and help you to work on your weak modules or subjects in your journey, right? Then when it comes to personalized learning, again, there is difference between adaptive learning and personalized learning. Personalized learning is a way where you can choose what to read, what standards or patterns to follow, and how, which teacher do you want to learn? How do I cross collaborate with it? So all these patterns are formed and we can suggest and the people can pick it up, right? And last not the least, everything as an end user, as a consumer, as a student, as a learner, as an avid learner, I want things to be 24 by 7, right? And there comes your knowledge boards and typical assessments. Knowledge boards are something beyond the classroom and the online training which we normally go for. They're always at handy. It's just like the Siri or the Google Real Chat which we go for, right? They're interactive, they're inductive, right? At the same time, when it comes to assessment, say for example, if I have to write an essay, okay, I'm just giving a very simple example, okay, it is totally dependent on the faculties or the teachers understanding or the biasing with which he grades. What if the machine learning does that thing? How much time you can save, right? Where the adverbs, the key sentences, the machine can train itself with the data, right? The best essays, right? Which can have the higher reliability and low chance of error. So this is where the digitization and transformation can help you, right? But the question comes that how do I prioritize? What do I want first? So I've broken it into the three categories, and probably this is where I would be ending my keynote also, right? So the first one is the immediate need, right? That is horizon one I've kept, where where the darker shades which you see on the left are something which you have to initiate quickly. The lighter shades which you see on your right are, once you are ready, you can go for it. So right from your omni-channel marketing, right, your symptom checker to your online education program, your seamless offline, rather I will say onboarding services, your student portals, right? These are something which you can look for. And then your digital admission, virtual tours, they are very important. I do not have to visit your institute, how big this university is, how the labs are there. Can I give a virtual tour? Can I go for AR, VR type of thing, right? All the digital assets which I want to do, right? Then horizon two is the typical midterm, which you can think of, right? That can be your typical space planning while the pandemic is coming, how we go for smart buildings, your teaching ads, your curriculum and content, digital design, right? And so on. And typically, in a long run, from a strategy point of view, we need to understand how we can go for data-driven career services, your typically virtual labs, which you can go, while we can understand that we could impart education virtually through online modes in this pandemic, can we go for some practicals, labs virtually also, right? And then definitely the alumni management. Uh, with current pandemic situation, obviously your proactive health education, your next emergency management, your crisis management in terms of your communication. Yeah. So this is where I will keep a pause over here, right? Just to refresh, we just look at the landscape, uh, the key priorities. We just saw that how difficult it is if the institute is not connected seamlessly, not only with the people, process, and the department, but it's in a complete 360 review. And then how Oracle can partner, collaborate with its digital technologies in all the space, back office, right from ERP, HCM to your front office like HCM and CX, where CX plays a major role right from the marketing to your sales and service, right? And then we saw how AI and ML is transforming the way we look at education, right? From adaptive learning to your predictive analytics, to your personalized learning to your keyboards, right? So here I end my keynote. This is something, the message which I wanted to give. Thank you.